Hello, welcome to Keylingo's first ever live event. My name is Frederick Marx, and I'm going to be leading this today. We've been interested in doing these for quite a while now, and we hope you enjoy what we have to share. It's our intention that we do a lot of these live events, and we think that these events are going to be aimed at sharing useful information and creating an opportunity for dialogue on a wide variety of topics and things that we think that we can add value. Who knows? Maybe they'll be entertaining from time to time. We hope so. We're certainly interested in seeing how this goes. So thank you for being here with us today. For this first one, we're just going to keep it casual. We're going to talk about something that we get a lot of questions about and is actually going on right at this very moment. It is called our Keylingo Work Abroad Program, or our QWOP, if you will. That's our acronym. And I think the best way to get started with this particular live event is to start with a question. And the question is this: would you live with your coworkers? Let that sink in for a second. I know it might sound a little bit strange to say, would you live with your coworkers? And I don't mean like forever, but would you live for a period of time? And at Keylingo, the answer is a resounding yes. Every year for 4 to 6 weeks, usually at this time of year, the fall in the US, we have 2 to 4 members of our team that works in our operations centers in Argentina and Peru. They come up to where I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and we spend 4 to 6 weeks together. And once again, you might think that that sounds a little bit strange, but it's really not. And the purpose of today's live event is to get into several questions around why we do this, what it is, and the reasons for it. And I'm going to actually, later in the live event, I'm going to interview one of our QWOP members that's here this time and has been here some other times as well. So she has got a lot to say about her experiences here in the live event. Not in the live event, in the QWOP. So let's go ahead and dive right into this today. So at first, the QWOP was a very simple idea. It was a cultural exchange. I had lived in another part of the world for several years during 2 seasons in my life. And the idea with the QWOP was to basically import that experience. I live here in the US. Keylingo is headquartered here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have 2 offices, one in Argentina and one in Peru. And that's where the majority of our employees are located. And we thought it would be a really cool idea to have them come to the US and have a cultural exchange. So at first, the idea was super simple. It was a cultural exchange. But over time, the QWOP has evolved. And today, I would say that it is the embodiment of our culture itself. And that's a huge shift. It started out super simple and then became something that is super important to us as a company. It's basically a symbol of who we are. And Keylingo's culture is built around our purpose. And our purpose is to improve people's lives. In just about everything we do at Keylingo, we ask ourselves, in a task that we're about to do, or an interaction we're about to have, or time that we're about to invest, we always ask ourselves if we're going to make a positive impact. We know we're not rocket scientists here at Keylingo, and we know we're not saving people's lives, but we take improving our small corner of the world very, very seriously. And the Keylingo Work Abroad program is an example of this. And the co-op existed before we actually called it a co-op. But now, because it has become such an integral part of who we are as a company, we've given it an acronym. I know lots of companies have acronyms. We do too. And this is something that we have no intention of ever stopping. We're in the 6th year of the Keylingo Work Abroad program, and we thought it was the right time to make it official. And so this year, we gave it an acronym. So once again, what is the co-op? The co-op is the Keylingo Work Abroad program. What is it exactly? If I were to describe it in a phrase, I would say it's an elevated corporate offsite. And corporate offsites are not a new idea. As long as leaders have thought about how to solve hard problems or increase key stakeholder engagement or ideate at a higher level than in an office meeting, corporate offsites have been around. And so we thought that having this offsite would be a great way to elevate what would otherwise be a standard corporate offsite. And when I say elevated, what does that mean? Well, when we first started thinking about the co-op, we were like, well, let's invite some people to Atlanta, Georgia. That's great. Let's let them stay in a hotel, and let's have some meetings in the corporate conference room and give them some free time to do their own thing in the evenings or on the weekends. But first of all, we wanted the duration of the co-op to last longer. So the co-op is a 4 to 6 week program. This is not a standard offsite that lasts 3 or 4 days or even a week. This is 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a long time to be together. And also 4 to 6 weeks in a hotel with multiple people, there was a cost concern as well. Thankfully, we have room in our home here in Atlanta, Georgia, that we said, let's go for this. We thought that the duration should be 4 to 6 weeks, and the location should be in our house. And that takes the corporate offsite to a whole new level, which we'll get into in just a moment. As I mentioned before, Keylingo is based in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have operations centers in Cordoba, Argentina, and another one in Lima, Peru. And we've had folks on our team from both of those locations come up and enjoy the co-op from both of those locations. So that's what the co-op is, an elevated corporate offsite. The next question is, why would Keylingo do this? And I stated before that I've lived abroad twice in my life, and those experiences really changed me. They were super impactful in my life. And I actually literally started Keylingo because of my experience the last time I lived abroad, which was in Chile. And that ended in 2004. And later, after hiring an international workforce at Keylingo, my original idea for the co-op, as I said before, was to import that experience. So I knew I couldn't recreate being in another country, but being surrounded by interesting people from another part of the world was an interesting alternative. Once we decided we would do this, we started getting into the details. And as I mentioned, the location and the duration were important components of this. But let's go through like why we would do this. Would you live with your coworkers? Yes, we would at Keylingo, and we do every year. I think a first big one is engagement. We have a strategic objective to maintain a super high level of engagement at Keylingo. And I think the Keylingo Work Abroad program is a great way to do that. I think it's something that our team looks forward to every year. I know I look forward to it every year. Team building. When you're in close quarters for 4 to 6 weeks, there's a lot of team building. We talk morning, noon, and night. I think we get in probably a year's worth of meetings and just talking through strategic objectives and getting stuff done. We get a year's worth of those activities in 4 to 6 weeks. It's not to say that we still don't have meetings outside of the QOP, but those 4 to 6 weeks are super intense. There's a performance incentive element. So folks in our company are very interested in coming to the QOP, and there's definitely a performance incentive element associated with who gets selected. Focus on corporate objectives. So we set out what our corporate objectives are going to be each and every year. And this 4 to 6 week intense period that we get to be together, we really focus on those objectives. So the QOP happens during the fall. And so it's the end of the third quarter. We're looking ahead to the fourth quarter. So we're reviewing our strategic objectives for the year that we're in. And we're also developing our strategic objectives for the next year as well. Another element of why we would do this is fun. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's super fun to be around. I'm gonna speak for myself now, but there is a selfish element here because the folks that work at Keylingo are young, interesting, cosmopolitan, smart people, and I just love being around those types of people. Another reason why we do it is differentiation. We think that, well, at least I've checked around a good bit, and I've been in the language services industry now for 18 years, almost 19 years, and I've never heard of anyone else doing a 4 to 6 week program where people in the company are invited to stay in the CEO's home. So I think that that's an important element of the QOP. Is differentiating Keylingo. There's a lot of language services companies out there, and Keylingo, I do believe, differentiates itself by having this elevated corporate offsite. I get an opportunity to set the tone. That is another important element. I want people that work at Keylingo to know me, and not just know me in a professional context, but know me in a personal context as well. And I think that having the QOP gives me a really great opportunity to just show people who I am. And I've worked with people over the years that when I worked in corporate America, they wouldn't even invite people that worked for them out to dinner, much less into their home. And I think I remember asking one person, this was years ago before I had started Keylingo, why they wouldn't spend more personal time with people they worked with. And I remember this person's answer very distinctly. And he said that, well, if I ever had to fire that person, I just want to avoid having a connection with that individual because it would make the firing harder. Well, I have a completely different philosophy. First of all, we hire really well. And so we know our people are super capable. And so I don't see that developing a personal connection with people that work in Keylingo is a liability at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's a super asset for Keylingo that we develop deep personal connections. If our purpose is to improve people's lives, then I think that this is an important way to do it. Employee retention, let's just call that what it is as well. I think that if we can differentiate well, if we can create deep personal connections with people, if we can focus on corporate objectives, if we can have a lot of fun together, I think that all of these things combined really make someone think when the inevitable happens and other companies come knocking, because we love the opportunity to create celebrities at Keylingo. The more that people know who our people are and what their achievements are, we love celebrating our people at Keylingo. And we know when that happens that other companies are going to be reaching out and saying, hey, would you like to work here? That's just how professional life is these days. And so one of the reasons why we think the QOP is an important tool is that I think that folks that get those offers might think twice, because that we have developed those deep personal connections with our coworkers, and then there's the QOP, and there's lots of other fun things that we do throughout the year. All right, shifting focus just a little bit. Why on earth would I do this in my home? I know I said earlier and peppered it through my remarks already today that this might seem creepy or strange to people, but it's not. It's really not. This is an intensely professional time that we get to spend together. We are focused on the company, and we are focused on growing our professional relationship and getting better at our jobs. And I think the QOP does a great service in that regard. But for me, there's a few important factors that I would like to share in this live event. First, I think there's one important element that, I don't get to talk a lot about, but I like to call it servant leadership. And this is an opportunity for me, every chance I get, to serve the people that work at Keylingo. And when you stay in a hotel for a weekend, or you go out to dinner together, or you have a business meeting, there's just not as many opportunities for a leader to demonstrate servant leadership. And when I have 2 to 4 people living in my home that I work with for 4 to 6 weeks, I have lots of opportunities for servant leadership. I love serving coffee. I love making dinner. I love taking the QOP participants on fun trips and outings. I love just letting them see that I really care and I support them in what they do. And I think that servant leadership is a big component. Obviously, in my home, I mentioned it earlier, I wanted to elevate the experience. And then the third component, I think, is another really, really important one. And I like to call it unexpected togetherness. So imagine you're having dinner with 4 of your coworkers at a business meeting. Or you may or may not, that conversation that you have over dinner might not shift into something that's really important. That's really something that maybe somebody might not have shared unless you gain a level of comfort with that person over days and weeks, that they feel comfortable being vulnerable in front of you. And that is something that I think is truly important. That unexpected togetherness that we share during the Keylingo Work Abroad program, I think allows people to develop a level of comfort with me. And I don't think that I'm an intimidating person, but I've had some QOP participants actually say that I can be intimidating. And I don't know where that comes from, but if it is, I want to do everything that I can to ease that feeling and create a sense of comfort and allow people to be vulnerable. And I want to lead that effort too and be vulnerable myself. And so those are the types of things, that unexpected togetherness in the morning at breakfast, or in the evening at dinner, or on a walk together, or on a happy hour or something like that. We're doing these things over the course of 4 to 6 weeks. So there's lots of opportunities for that. In the first week, maybe we're just kind of getting to know one another if it's the first time. But by the second or third week, after watching Netflix together for hours, or sharing lots of dinners, or cleaning dishes together. Those moments come out. Another is I really had a large desire to personalize the event. As I said before, demonstrate my support and care for those that work at Keylingo, give my time, and really build relationships. I really enjoy being around these people, and the reason why it's in my home is just that. I think it's a combination of all these things that I've just described. So there you go. Well, we've reached an important point in the live event where I'm going to actually interview one of our QUAP participants that's actually here in Atlanta with me right now. And her name is Virginia Careto, and she is our Vice President of Operations. So if we can get her on here.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Frederick. How everyone? I'm doing well. How's everything under the basement?
Thanks, great. I'm glad you actually said that, because you're here in my house right now. I'm down
Exactly.
in the basement, you're upstairs having this live event. We were together in what we like to call our office, which we got the dining room, and then my office is right off of that. So we're together all day long. But for this live event, I've gone downstairs and Veer's gone upstairs. So I'm so glad. Thanks.
And then
Thanks for.
thank you. Thanks to you. I was going to say that, and in the evening, we end up the day watching Better Call Saul.
That's right.
So we do plenty of things. Thank you for the presentation. As Frederick mentioned, I'm Virginia Careto, aka Beard. From my teammates, I'm the VP of Operations at Keylingo. I started working in 2015, so this is my 7th year around this amazing team. I'm from Cordoba, Argentina, and I'm very lucky because this is my third QUAP. The first one was in 2017. The second one was in 2020 during COVID times. And this is my third time here, and I will be around until mid October. So I'm very happy for this opportunity. And answering your initial question, I want to say that I will definitely live with my coworkers. Like, I've been witnessing this amazing experience. It's awesome. It's so much fun. It's very enriching. And I want to say that living together is not creepy at all. On the contrary, like, I can speak personally, and I think I can speak from the rest of the team that we feel at home here. So thank you very much for hosting this experience, and I'm really happy to be here again.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for saying that, Veer. And Veer, obviously, you've been here 3 times now, and
Yeah.
we've created a lot of memories together over the years. Wonderful memories, and I could rattle off dozens of them. But we'll get to that in a minute. But let's start with maybe take just a couple minutes and describe what the QUAP means to you.
Okay. I would become very emotional, but I can say, you know how I am. But I can say that the QUAP is very significant for me because, as you mentioned before, Keylingo's purpose is to improve people's lives, and everything that we do every day with our customers, with our teammates, is focused on meeting that purpose. And I can proudly say that the QUAPs have definitely improved my life in a very positive way, because having the opportunity of working together and sharing considerable times with you and the rest of my colleagues is one of the most enriching experiences that I ever had in my life. So I'm very happy about it, because it is in these instances in which you get to know everyone in a more personal way. You end up being very close friends with that people. You are my boss, but I know that I can count on you in some personal stuff too. Because, well, we get to know very well thanks to all the experiences and our daily conversations that we share during these weeks of the club. So we share a lot inside and outside work. what I like about Keylingo is that we meet our objectives by working together in a very collaborative way. So the co-ops are very valuable for me because I think that they reinforce the sense of belonging, partnership, and friendship among the team that we would like to accomplish. For instance, in this opportunity, if we work about talk itself, during the first week of the co-op, we set the objectives about the things that we wanted to accomplish together during these weeks. But then during the first week, we also plan a dinner planner, preparing meals in which everyone has a specific day of the week in which that was in charge of the dinner, and we cooked together. It was so much fun. So the co-ops for me are very enjoyable experiences.
It's awesome. Thank you, Peter. Let's shift into another topic, and I just mentioned, that you've been here 3 times, and during those visits, we've done a lot of really cool stuff. I have photos of it all, and in a future live event, maybe we will show some. We actually saw a complete, a total eclipse together. I mean, that's like a
Yeah.
once in a lifetime event for most people on the planet, and we got to share that together, which I thought was amazing. But what are some of your most memorable experiences during the
Well, that's difficult for me because I had a lot of memorable experiences and fun. So maybe we need to go over all of them in another live event of 45 minutes, but I can mention some of them. Well, as you mentioned, the first time in 2017 that I was here, uh, you drove almost 12 hours to observe a solar eclipse with all your family. They are all amazing. It was a long trip and it worth it because it was one of my most memorable experiences in my life. So thank you so much at that time for driving so long to take us there. Another memorable and very fun experience that I can tell to the people was the trip to Hilton Head during COVID in 2020. We rented a house. You drove, and you drove there. And when we arrived, the house that we rented, it was dark. We saw it, and we thought that the address was wrong because we, from the outside, we could only see an abandoned house. And, and I remember that you wanted to go somewhere else. You said like, no, this is a mistake. This is not the house. But then we were brave and we entered, and the house was very beautiful and renewed inside. But we must say that the outside was kind of creepy. But anyway, we had a great time. We were there, like we were 2 blocks away from the beach, and we had an amazing experience there. I can mention other memorable experiences like hiking to see the Blue Mountains. The people that know me know that I am not a very sports person, but we had a great time there. Then one of in 2017, I went to the Music Midtown Festival, in which I had the opportunity uh, of seeing my favorite bands like Dua Lipa, Blink 182, Bruno Mars. Traveling during COVID was a whole new experience for me itself. Then Emmy and I in 2020, we acted as party planners, and we planned Robin's 50th birthday at the house. Robin is Frederick's wife. She's amazing. And then to finalize, I can tell the funniest experience, the funniest experience that you must remember. That was the first time that I ate hot wings. Uh, I'm not into spicy food, and I didn't see that coming, honestly. And it is until today that we continue laughing about that situation because I turned red to this because of the strong spicy flavor. But last week you prepared other hot wings to see the football game, and they were amazing.
Awesome. Well, wow, that was a lot, Vir. And as you were going through those memories, they just all flooded back for me as well. And there's just so many that we're creating during this quap. But
Yeah.
For the audience, let's also share that the primary reason that we do this is professional.
Mhm.
And to be honest with the audience here, I think that those personal memories, those personal times together, uh, they impact our professional relationship. They really are woven into everything that we do here at Keylingo. But I do want to get Veer's comments on how the QAP has impacted you professionally. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Of course. Well, the co-op impacts in a very positive way in my life because I believe that I feel like every time I participate in a co-op, I come back home feeling that I have improved considerably, not only as a professional, but also as a teammate, due to the several experiences encountered from our daily activities with you and the rest of the team. I really, really enjoy working side by side with you because I learn a lot from our conversations regarding how to think about something from different perspectives, like to get the 360 of a situation. And I love that. And I also had the opportunity of visiting clients personally, face to face, and those were very enriching experiences for me. um, Traveling is my passion, and I always, since I was a kid, I always aim at working in a place that allows me to improve my skills, learning from new challenges, and also work abroad. That is like a plus for me, and I can proudly say that my dream is fulfilled. So thank you very much again for your guidance and supports to make this happen during all these years.
Awesome. Thank you, Veer. And also, I just want to thank you again for joining me this morning to talk about this. I know you're still recovering from your amazing trip to New York,
Yeah,
which also,
my feet still hurt.
yeah, the, the travel within the travel is something that is integral to the QAP as well. And we haven't really touched on that, but almost every QAP that we have had, the participants will take the opportunity of already being here in the US and go somewhere else outside of Atlanta, Georgia. They're definitely tired of seeing me for days
No.
on end. So Veer and another one of our participants went to New York for 4 amazing days. We
Yeah.
looked at the photographs last night. They were absolutely incredible. So Veer, thank you for being so alert and providing such amazing commentary on your experience here at the Quap.
Thanks to you and your family. I feel very happy about it, about this experience. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great. Well, let's shift into the next segment where we're nearing the end of this live event, and I think we're pretty much on schedule. We're 34 minutes in, and I think we planned for about 45 minutes, so we're gonna let you guys go probably a little bit early. And I think we do have one question that we would like to see if we can answer. So, what is the question here? Let's see. The question is, what is the best memory you have from doing this over the years, and what do you most look forward to? That is a very difficult question to answer because there have been so many memories. But if I had to choose one, one that definitely comes to mind was that Hilton Head trip that Veer described. It was during COVID. It was later in the year than we normally do the Guap, so the weather had turned a little bit cold, and we did rent this house that was close to the beach. And I think one of my best memories. It's a personal memory, but I stayed on the beach from literally from the sunrise in the morning to the sunset in the evening. And Veer and Emmy had rented bicycles, and you can ride your bike on the beach in Hilton Head. And so they went off riding bikes, and we really just shared super memorable day. I remember in the evening on that day, we had some wine on the beach as the sun went down, and we just said, wow, what an amazing day, what an amazing experience for everyone involved. And the second part of that question, what do I most look forward to? And let me just honestly say that this is an event that I look forward to every single year, honestly and sincerely. I don't know what it is, but I get energy from being around people uh, that work at Keylingo. I think that our bonds as a team are strengthened. And at the end of the day, our customers are impacted. Customer experiences are improved. Lives are improved because we do this together, both internally and our customers and partners, vendors, etc. It all kind of flows down to those other entities and partners that we work with. So what I look forward to most is watching how the co-op will evolve over the years. This is the 6th year, and we have no intention to ever stop this. And so because it's so valuable, obviously the first one we were like, wow, is this a good idea? Is this going to work? Will people like it, et cetera, et cetera? And 6 years in, I think that we have definitely demonstrated that this is one of the highlights of the year, and we're so looking forward to continuing to do this. So what I look forward to most is just continuing to do this, continuing to build bonds with people that I work with, and as a result, just improving people's lives, living our purpose. So, we've got another question. It says, which are your plans for the weekend? Can't wait to see more photos of you having a great time. Thank you for that question. What do we plan to do this weekend? Well, 2 of the participants are off to New York. So on Wednesday morning, I am going to get up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to drive 2 of the co-op participants to the airport so that they can go spend a weekend in New York. Is that Wednesday morning? Thursday morning, I think I'm doing that. So they'll be in New York for 4 days. And then the 2 left over, I think that we're planning a weekend in the countryside. So we will go and enjoy the countryside, maybe pet a few pigs and have a nice lunch somewhere. And hopefully the weather will hold up and it'll be a beautiful and memorable day. Thank you for that question. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's a funny comment. That's not a question. You should have showed up in the same room. Oh my gosh, here we are.
We're not lying.
We're
not lying.
That's right. Veer's here. She came. Okay, haha. You guys should close the live event together. Yes, good idea. So thank you all for joining us today. This is our very first live event. As I said, we're looking forward to doing more of these, and we hope that you got something out of it, and we appreciate your time today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining.
Bye-bye.